Prawn rice or kolmi bhaat as they call it in the coast of Maharashtra in India, we're going to need some nice cleaned washed peeled tiger prawns. So this could be about 20-25 tiger prawns. I'm just going to marinate these to start with. Okay, so I'm taking about half a teaspoon to a quarter teaspoon of salt. Just be very careful with the salt content. Half a teaspoon of red chilli powder, half a teaspoon of red pepper powder, quarter teaspoon of turmeric powder, and quarter teaspoon of cumin powder. Okay. Add just about quarter teaspoon of lemon powder. Add quarter teaspoon of Kashmiri chili powder, because by this we're just going to get the lovely red color. Okay, brilliant. I'm now going to add about 1 teaspoonful of ginger garlic paste. Lovely. Okay, I'm just going to mix all of these real good. Okay, so just mix this well so that the spices marinate equally on all. Lovely. Now we let the marination sit for at least 1 hour. Okay. So today I'm going to continue with my recipe. However, when you make it, because with the interest of time, I don't want to waste your time. So when you make it, you ensure that you let it sit for at least 1 hour. Okay. So while that is marinating, let's make our tempering for our rice. So here I have a non-stick pan to which I have added about 2 tablespoons of oil, and it's nice and hot. So this I'm going to add 2 to 3 bay leaves, one cinnamon stick, 4 to 5 cloves, 4 green cardamoms, 4 to 5 black peppers, okay, and about 10 to 12 curry leaves. So just temper this real good. Okay, on low flame, let this keep tempering. I'm just going to add half a teaspoonful of cumin powder and half a teaspoonful of salt. Remember, this is the tempering that you're making for the rice, so you have to be absolutely sure. Now turn off the flame and keep this at the side. So this is about 2 cups of basmati rice that I've soaked for 20 minutes with 2.5 cups of water. Okay, to this I'm going to add my tempered whole garam masala paste. Okay. So, why is this hot? It's really hot. Just give me that one. Okay. So I'm just going to drop in all the garam masala, including the salt, the cumin powder, the oil, absolutely everything. Just drop it into this bowl of rice. Now as you see, it's in a nice glass bowl for the simple reason that we're going to cook this in the microwave. Okay, so generally about 2 cups of rice would take about 19 to 20 minutes to cook. However, I'm going to cook it just until it's about 90% done. Okay, so which is going to be about 12 to 13 minutes, so that I can actually see that it's only 90% done. And then I'm going to go to my second stage. Or if you don't want to cook this in the microwave, you can cook this on an open flame, just the way you would cook normal rice for biryani. And you could cook it just till it is 90% done. So I'm sprinkling some fried methi leaves. Now these are optional, but they just 2 to 3, and they just give a nice flavor. Okay, lovely. So I'm just going to put this into the microwave now and allow it to start cooking. Okay, so now that our rice has been cooking in the microwave, I'm going to start with my prawns. So here are my prawns which we had marinated, and they've been sitting together for an hour now, fortunately. So what I'm going to do is I have taken some wheat flour in a separate plate, and I have this non-stick pan, the same non-stick pan that I use to make the tempering for my rice. Okay, to this I'm going to add about 3 to 4 tablespoons of oil. Okay, and ensure it's nice and hot. Until then, while this is getting hot, what I'm going to do is, so take like a handful of prawn and place it with the wheat flour and just go turning it around so that each is well coated with the flour. Now the reason we do this, but ensure it's a very light coating because we don't want to keep tasting the flour. The reason we do this is we don't want the marination to fall off the prawn while we cook it. So which is why we apply a nice light coat of the wheat flour. Now instead of the wheat flour, you could use semolina or rava, or you could use some corn flour and a mixture of the wheat flour as well. But this is the way it's made in the restaurants, and it tastes pretty good with the wheat flour because the wheat flour is known to soak up the spices or anything that you want it to do, and since it's already marinated, it is a little moist, so it helps in soaking up the spices quicker. So it's the way, as you keep finishing, you just keep them at the side so they are ready to be dropped in the oil once the oil is nice and hot. Okay, and so like I said, you're just using the flour to lightly coat your prawn, and no such interest in really getting it into a very hard or a thick coat. We want a very thin coat with this. Lovely. So cook it and keep it at the side. Marinate it, keep it at the side. Lovely. That's the way it is. So I'm just going to drop these into the oil, and then I'm going to continue with the rest. So your oil is nice and hot now. Ensure it's all across the pan. Now bring it to the minimum because it's really hot, and start dropping the prawns. Always start from the circumference. Place all the prawns in the circumference and then go to the center. It's really hot, so be very careful. Okay. Now we let this cook well because this is the only stage at which your prawn is going to cook. So all the prawns will generally take about 10 minutes to cook because we have to turn them around as well. So, but don't hasten this process because if you turn them around far too quick, you may end up dropping the coating as well. And At the same time, it shouldn't get burnt. So ensure once it's nice and hot, you keep it at the lowest flame. So there are no chances of your prawn getting burnt. If you have space, you could push in through some more so that in one go all get done. So you're also consuming less oil. Just one. Just going to sprinkle some flour on top, because as soon as you put it in the oil, some amount of the flour will start to come off as well. Just sprinkle some. That's about it, because this is the one with the spices, so it's going to taste yummy. You can turn one and see if it's done. So ideally we want it to be nice and golden brown. So while turning, if it is very soft, don't turn it. That probably means that it's not done. But the trick is to turn them lightly, because at the same time I don't want them to burn. It's really soft meat. Brilliant. So I'm just going to keep turning those that I feel are stiffer and they're kind of done on that side. So this recipe is simple. It takes a little time, but it's very tasty, and this is the way it's still being made in the coasts of Maharashtra in India. So it's very relishing, and it's got no outside spices. It's completely homemade, so you're absolutely in control of what you add, what the spices are. So negligible chances of you going wrong. Lovely. So this side has a little less oil, so which is why they seem a little different. Just going to sprinkle a little more oil on the side. Okay, we wait another 2 to 3 minutes, and then this should be done. Lovely. So while our prawns are frying, I'm taking a nice open hollow bottom dish. It's a nice cooking dish, and I'm going to get this to become nice and hot. We're going to start making our prawn rice or kolmi bhaat in this, and we're just going to marry the rice, the marinated prawns, and our actual masala. Okay, now to tell you a little more of the masala or the mixture that has been made, here it goes. Now this basically contains 10 to 12 red chillies, that is Kashmiri red chillies. It contains half of a coconut grated and added to the non-stick pan. So all these ingredients are being roasted first. So there is 10 to 12 Kashmiri red chilies, half of your coconut grated. It includes 2 cloves, 2 cardamoms, and 2 black peppers. It includes 1 green cardamom. It includes 2 to 3 curry leaves and a little of coriander leaves. It includes 2 green chilies, and these are all roasted, and then after these are roasted, we add 1 onion, which is finely sliced, and add that to the same roasting mixture and let them all roast together. And once it comes to a nice golden brown color after roasting, all that is done is I let this cool down, and then I add it to my mixer with just about half a cup of water and come to this paste. Now I have made this paste yesterday, and I kept it in the freezer so that I could show this to you in the interest of time. So you would see it's a little hard, but don't worry about that. It'll it'll come to the room temperature. And besides, when we make this particular dish, it'll melt automatically, which is the way we make it in the restaurant, so there's nothing to worry. So make this, and after that we come to our non-stick dish. So this is nice and hot now. I'm going to add just about 2 tablespoons of oil. Let this oil become nice and hot, and our rice is also 90% cooked, which we had kept in our microwave. So ensure the time is absolutely correct, because everything has to be at the same time, otherwise the rice will get overcooked, the mixture won't melt in time, so you really have to monitor all of these together. So this is nice and hot now. Okay, I'm going to add 4 green chilies that I have slit at the center. Okay, now these have begun to bubble. Add 2 tomatoes finely chopped. Just go ahead and just hold. Okay. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this up and let the tomatoes become nice and soft and ooze out all the water and become a nice coarse paste. So just get the flame to the minimum. And cover this up with a nice glass lid so you could see what's happening. This will take about 2 to 3 minutes. Now that our tomatoes have got nicely squashed, as you can see, okay, I'm going to add my paste. Okay, so just drop this in. Okay, brilliant. So if you have something like this, which is really hard, okay, I'm just going to add some water to this, and then I'm going to close the lid. Just close the lid and let this come to a gravy mixture. So as you see, our mixture has completely melted down. So don't worry if you have to make it and keep it in the freezer. I'm just adding a pinch of Kashmiri red chili powder so that I get my necessary color. Just give it a mix. Okay. And this is on high flame because we want this to get cooked super fast. We don't want a lot of water. Lovely. So to this I'm now going to add, I have added about half a cup of water to my marination bowl, the bowl that I use for my prawn. I'm just going to add that back into the dish. We wait until this comes to a boil. Close the lid and let the spices cook together and let it come to a boil. So basically the water has to be half its. So as you see, this has come to a nice boil now. Okay, to this I'm going to add my rice. So there you go, my rice is ready, the one that I added with my roasted spices. Okay, I'm going to slowly drop in the rice into this. So it's nice and sticky, and it's got a flavor of the cumin and the whole garam masala. I can actually smell the cardamom and the cinnamon, which is good. Okay, so spread it around. All sides. Just drop in the rice. Okay. And now we're just going to give this a mix. Mix all this real good so that the rice is covered with the flavor on sides. Keep the flame at the max because your rice will immediately cook because everything is nice and hot and it's already 90% done. Okay. Once you feel all the spices got well marinated with the rice, once it's mixed, try and taste a little so that you can be very sure of the seasoning of salt that you need according to your requirements. I'm just going to keep mixing this because I don't want my rice to stick. If you feel that the water has got evaporated, it's soaked up easily, turn flame to the lower. See how beautifully it's taking the color. Lovely. So this is done, guys. Now is your last stage where you pop in the prawns. Okay, so I have my prawns here which were fried. They're ready. I'm just going to pop them in. So you could pop half the quantity in and half the quantity you could probably keep to munch outside as a side dish. It's really your call. Lovely. Just saute this so that the prawns also can get soaked and everything marries together. So everything basically tastes the same. So you don't want the prawns to be an external party and it's not tasting alike. So we marry everything together. Lovely. This is done, guys. Serve this nice and piping hot with some sliced onion and lemon, and you could enjoy this. Separately, you could also add the topping of your boiled egg, if you like. So I have some boiled egg here, which I'm going to serve as a cider. Lovely. Enjoy.